Hiya. I thought I'd drop a video of my draft for FPL, the new season. I'm pretty excited about the new season. Can't wait for it to kick off. I spend far too long messing about on FPL, especially when you look at my overall rank. Usually, it's not that great, but I enjoy it, and I am looking forward for the new season to start. Let's have a look at this draft anyway. Here we go. So first off, I've got Flecken in goal. This is dependent on Raya leaving, and at the start of the season, oh, it looked a few weeks ago as though that was definitely going to happen. Maybe Raya would go to Man United or Spurs, and by the way, he'd be a good value, good pick on if he went to either of those two teams. But that doesn't look likely now, especially Spurs have bought another goalkeeper, and Man United look like they will buy Onana. So I want a 4.5 million goalkeeper. There's usually a decent one somewhere. Last season, Raya was the best in terms of points in the league, and I took myself out of getting him last season because his fixtures weren't particularly good at the start. Eventually, I did end up with him at times until I decided to completely destroy my team by putting Edison in. Probably won't do that this time, especially he's 5.5 million. But Flecken, um, if he is the starting goalkeeper for Brentford, might be a good pick because Brentford seem to be a team that restrict their opposition to long distance shots, and that's exactly what you want because it means they're more likely to save them. I don't know a lot about Flecken, but from what I've seen, it looks like he's a reasonable goalkeeper from the Bundesliga, and this could be any other 4.5 million except Pickford. I'm not picking Pickford. Maybe I'm a bit biased. I'm fed up of Southgate picking him no matter how awful he is. I think I can't see Everton doing that well, really. I just can't see it. And I don't, so many teams I've seen actually have got Pickford in them, and I don't get it. So if you've got Pickford, tell me why. Um, or tell me what you think. Obviously, I'm not. You might be right and I might be wrong. That's has been known to happen before. But yeah, I think Pickford just parries the ball out into the danger area. I don't see them keeping a lot of clean sheets. I know Sean Dyche is supposedly this brilliant defensive coach, but they haven't really strengthened that much, and I don't think Pickford is the answer. It could be one of the Brighton goalkeepers is the way to go if we work out who that's going to be, or maybe there's another 4.5 million. If not, I could go up to someone like Onana, or Ramsdale looks really good as well. Okay, so in defence at the moment, I have Trent Alexander Arnold, and that could change. He's dividing opinion at the moment. I think he's a great pick if Liverpool get their act together and are better defensively than they were last season. I mean, they were awful last season in defence, and I say that as a Man United fan who watched them hammer us 7-0. Yeah, I'm not bitter or anything, but I think last season they were found out. Teams basically targeted Trent, and Trent, whatever you say, isn't a great defender. He's a great player for FPL because he's a brilliant attacker, one of the best in the league. Or he's great at assists, great at brilliant through balls, everything like that. But I just don't think he can defend. Um, so teams really targeted down that side, and it was only when Klopp changed the system that they looked a lot better. If he's pushed further into midfield, that could be really great. Although I don't see him being exactly, like I don't see him really. I'm not 100% sure that it's better than him as a right back because he got really far forward as a right back and a wing back. if he ain't going to play the way he did against Malta or the way against North Macedonia in midfield and pinging it around, but he still could be worth 8 million. If he was still 7.5 million, I think a lot of more people would have him in their teams. But I can see why he's not in some people's teams, because it's just, it really makes a bit of a decision between whether you want to invest more in your midfield or have Trent. And at the time being, I've got Trent, but that could change. Next, I've got Estepinian and Shaw, both attacking fullbacks. Estepinian was great last season. I think Brighton are going to start the season strong. Hopefully they'll do well. Estepinian looks like the best pick of their defence. I was wondering whether Dunk would be a good pick, but he's the same price. If he was 4.5, I'd go for him, but he's not. So they can't really see a reason not to pick Estepinian, especially given their fixtures at the beginning of the season. Shaw, last season he seemed to be a bit of a bonus points magnet, picked up bonus points all the time, even if he was playing as centre back. He is probably, easily Man United's best defensive FPL option as far as I can see. So that I could change him to someone like a Gabriel or a Zinchenko from Arsenal. They've got very good fixtures as well, so I'm not 100% set on those at the moment, but that's what I'm looking at now. So in the midfield, I went for Saka. He looks like, to me, he's one of Arsenal's best attackers, probably the best one, best option. He's at the same price as Odegaard, and he's on penalties too. He's very attacking, great player. I think he'll just get better and better, and he's in the team. Looks pretty obvious pick. I think I will stick with him in. Then, boom, in Boomo. So obviously no Tony for Brentford at the start of the season until I think it's January. He's banned for the gambling offences. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a gamble to go for Mbumo. He, at the beginning of the season, before the game launched, I did think he was going to be a popular pick. Looks like he is, and I can see why, because he, I mean, he's going to be probably the main man involved a lot. I don't know that he's going to play centre forward. I think he may still pop up on the wing. Maybe be part of a two with Wissa, possibly, but I think he's going to be a good option. Then another 6.5 million attacker, I've got Mitoma. He always looks like Brighton's best attacker, like he's going to make something happen. He could, and he wins free kicks and penalties sometimes too. So I think he's a good option. Not counting out Gross, who will be on penalties, but it looks like a bit of a trap to go for him. He's surely going to be more defensive than. I mean, it depends whether he gets to play in that number 10 role now McAllister's gone. He can sometimes rotate if there's no right back. Feltman is injured, so sometimes he plays right back. Having said all that, he was Brighton's highest scorer, I think, last season. So in FPL points, that is. So the other one could be March, and Ciso as well is an option, and he's cheaper. But I don't know that he's going to start as many games. But he looks a good player. So at the moment it's Mitoma. Then the next one, Sterling. I mean, 7 million. He looks like he could be this season's Rashford. I remember last season I put Rashford in, and some people were giving me all kinds of abuse for that, saying he was going to be awful. Man United weren't going to be anywhere, but I just thought he was going to be the main man. This could happen with Sterling. Sterling, I mean, there's a few new signings. We've got to see how it all settles down. If if Pochettino can get them playing and Sterling wants to be a part of that, he has definitely got the talent. He can score goals. He can assist. We saw a few seasons ago for City scored 20 or 30 goals one season, I think. I mean, not saying he's going to do that, but he could be a very good value pick. That position, I mean, I've got for this team. Funnily enough, I've got 1.5 million in the bank at the moment, so this could go to someone else. It could be Foden, Madison. Um, I think I could even push it up to someone like an Odegaard, although I'm less keen on that. Foden, if he starts the season um, in the team because De Bruyne is out, which probably makes it more likely he will start in the team, could be a great option too. So not totally sure on that, but this team is what I like at the moment. Next, Rashford. Um, Man U have a couple of decent options. Rashford, Fernandez. I've gone for Rashford at the moment. Fernandez, uh, well, Fernandez is a great option if he plays forward in the forward position in the sort of number 10. But last season he was often picked and played further back. Now we've got more cover with Mount coming in, so maybe that won't happen as much. Um, Although, so when Ericsson was injured, sometimes Fernandez would play further back, and if he does, he's nowhere near as good as an option. Last season, he could have scored quite a few more goals. He hit the post a few times, hit some decent shots that just whistled past, and Fernandez is an option for sure. I think Rashford is the better one that I'm going for at the moment. Now, if they sign an attack, is it Hoyland, um, then I'm wondering whether it makes them better or worse. I think it probably makes them both better, Rashford and Fernandez. But also, depending on the price of that attacker, he might be an option too. So we'll have to have a look at that. Um, but that's the midfield. So then the attack, I've gone for Haaland and Wissa. I mean, this Haaland guy really needs a lot of explanation. Uh, I think kind of self-explanatory. So, although at the end of the last season he did go through a little bit of a dry spell, didn't score for I think about 6 or 7 games. Scored recently in a Norway game, but that was a penalty. So it can show you anyone can have a bit of a lean spell of goals. Not expecting that beginning of next season. He's probably going to score like he normally does, and they've got really good run of fixtures. So leaving him out doesn't seem possible. Uh, the second attacker I've got there is Wissa. I'd been thinking about him from before the prices were dropped and everything. He last season, at the end of the season, played really well. Got more games because Tony was out, and I think the same thing is going to happen. He could be a better pick than Mbumo, possibly. I mean, doesn't get the additional point for clean sheet or uh, goal scored, but he, in my opinion, might be the central striker, and so if he gets off to a good start, they've got decent fixtures. I think he could be a good pick. Obviously, there are other players we could change this to, um, but at the moment, he looks the best of that sort of price range. Could push him up to someone a bit more expensive, like an Nkunku. Can't quite get to Jesus, so I'd have to do some fiddling around. Although I could just change some of the bench players and easily manage that. Uh, the bench at the moment is Areola because people are saying he's likely to be a starting goalkeeper. I'm not sure. Fabianski has been their starting goalkeeper for a long time, so for West Ham. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. If he is, he
might even, if he is the starting goalkeeper, he would probably be my pick for the game week 1 because he has Bournemouth, whereas Flecken has Tottenham. So that might be. I mean, I don't like rotating goalkeepers, but it's only 4 million anyway. That might be what I'd do. Morris, I think, was Luton's top goal scorer last season, so I've just thrown him in as a bit of a better bench player. That's not set in stone at the moment, but he Luton do have a couple of decent games, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, he's in there. Then we've got Mings and Bell. So let me know what you think of this team. Who should I change, or what do you think? Who have you got in your team? So that's my whole team. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and any players you think I should change or whatever. All the best.